All right, welcome everybody. It's 1 minute after 2 o'clock here in the Trade Pending TV studio in our world headquarters in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be getting inside of a GM's mind today. David, we'll give you a moment to introduce yourself here in just a second, but let's get on with the show here. Gosh, this little thing is giving me all sorts of grief here. So I'm Matthew, Chief Marketing Officer at Trade Pending. We've got David here, General Manager, Northampton VW. David, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and there's a reason you're off camera today. I think there was some violence perpetrated against you by a small family member. Is that right?
Yep, a little claw mark from my 1-year-old nephew, so I didn't want people to have to see the damage.
There we go. All right, so we are recording this thing today. We will share out the recording afterwards. If you have questions as we go, throw them in the Q&A in the Zoom panel, hit them up in the chat. I'll do my best to field those. If we don't get to them right now, then we'll answer you after the fact. And there we are. If you haven't yet seen any of our content, a Trade Pending TV. We put a ton of stuff out there. Some of it is informative, some of it is entertaining, some of it's educational. I love going out and interviewing people on the street, interviewing people at dealerships. There's a lot of that great content there as well. And that being said, let's get to the show here. So let me stop the screen share. David, please introduce yourself. What do you do? How long you been in automotive? How long you been at Northampton? Give us the story.
Well, I've been with Northampton Volkswagen now for about 6 months. I've been in the automotive business. This is my 25th year. Started when I was 16, washing cars, and here I am today. So, uh, been here, like I said, for about 6 months, and everything's going well. Great group to work for.
You mentioned that your store has been growing like a weed there, and I'd love to throw all the credit to you and say that it's the fact that you've been there for 6 months. But what's really going on there? Why the change in momentum?
I think a lot of it is just the people that we have. We've really grown a solid team, salespeople and finance managers and great service department. And everybody really meshes really well together, and we all have a same goal, and you know, we really all fit into the same culture. So it's helping us for sure to sell more and do more in every department.
I love that. So you're starting with the people. It's obviously the most important part. And I like to say there's kind of the three P's of actually running any kind of successful organization. There's you got to have great people first, and you got to give them great processes to follow, and then they really a lot of times they need great products to help them do their jobs. And so we'll touch on those things here a little bit later, but let's jump in. So we're getting inside your mind here today. We're going to do this in a non-intrusive way. And one of the things we've talked about before, and you and I have conversed on this a handful of times, and that's what we lovingly call is the CTA wars. And that is, there's a ton of vendors out there. Trade Pending is one of them that we love putting buttons on your website that do things and can make a customer's life easier. They can make it more difficult sometimes unintentionally. How are you thinking about these tools? How do you prioritize them? Like what makes the cut, what doesn't, and what data are you looking at to inform those decisions?
Well, I would say, we work really hard to understand where the customer is in the buying journey, whether, if they're just browsing car models, looking for specific features, are they ready to book a test drive? For example, if a user is browsing vehicle details, we prioritize CTAs like book a test drive or get more info. Um, if they're in the checkout financing section, making sure that apply for financing or scheduled delivery takes precedence.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you tried anything with the buttons? You're like, ah, that was amazing, and we want to do that again. And the flip side of that, what have you tried when it comes to call to actions that you've looked at the data and said, nah, we need to rethink that?
Well, we have a great marketing team here, and they work really hard to kind of study the customer. In the automotive space, we're constantly running, A/B type tests to refine our approach, whether it's testing the phrasing of a button, like find your car versus get a quote now, or experimenting with the placement of the CTA on a vehicle detail page. We use data to continually optimize for higher conversions. And we also consider elements like location-based targeting, showing the fine dealership, CTA, when a user is near a physical location.
Got it. So let's jump over to this. So you've been there 6 months and you decided to launch a buying center. Tell us just the thought process behind that.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the very early stages of getting that up and running. We really are focusing on um, buying vehicles out of the service department right now because not only are they quality vehicles that we have good history on, um, but we're usually getting them for a lot better pricing than the auctions right now. The auctions are astronomical, and it's just been really an uphill battle that way. So we're focusing on, like I said, the service customer first. Usually converts over to, I would say, 50% of the time, a car deal.
That's really good. How do you approach those people in a way that is non-confrontational, that makes them receptive to hear the offer?
It's we've done buyback offers. Um, and the other thing that's been especially encouraging is how quickly customers are embracing the digital tools we've integrated into the process, like online appraisals and immediate offer generation. Um, and also, getting all the systems to talk to each other seamlessly, um, whether it's ensuring that the trade-in values we're offering align with what we can actually buy cars for. Um, and there's been a strong demand for like simple, streamlined way to sell vehicles back to the dealership, which has definitely made our buyback offers more appealing.
Hmm. How do you decide which cars that you want to make an offer on, or is it all of them that come through the service drive?
I mean, I think, you know, everything is worth looking at if it's for the right price, but we really try to focus on vehicles that people are buying. That's where we're, being our strongest with the money, and we want to put quality vehicles on the road. So a lot of the vehicles that we're looking at are eligible for certification through the manufacturer, to entice people with better rates and um, just overall better cars.
Got it. When does it actually happen? When in the process are you presenting someone with an offer?
So typically we kind of know, a day before or two who's going to be coming in, and we're doing a soft approach through our BDC where BDC is reaching out to the customer, just letting them know, we see you coming in for service in the next 24 to 48 hours. Your vehicle is something that's in higher demand. Are you open to us, offering you a free appraisal while you're here? And that seems to be a good approach. We don't like to approach it as, we want to buy the car back and sell you a new one. It's really
Right.
more about giving the customer the information to consider. Um, and then that's usually where the discussion takes off.
I love that. So that's before they even set foot in the door, you're already planting that seed. You're already getting them to think about it so that you're not coming up to them or when they're approaching the service driver, they've just showed up and they just want to drop the car off or they just want to pay and leave. And then you're hitting them with it, right? I really love that proactive approach there. What's been the biggest surprise in launching a buying center so far that you just weren't expecting?
Um, I would say that the buying center it's been a game changer, but it does come with its surprises. On the positive side, we've seen a much higher level of engagement from customers than we initially expected. Um, it's pretty surprising how many of these buyback offers have turned into very profitable car deals and how many people have been receptive to us making offers. So that's been more surprising. We kind of think, it was going to be more of a uphill battle of customers saying they weren't
Hmm.
interested. But I think because the used car market is on fire right now, um, people are seeing that they have a lot of, equity in their vehicles, and it opens up that door to, if my car is worth so much, what does a vehicle purchase look like using that equity?
Got it. Is the is the BDC team that's doing that initial outreach, are they exclusively focused on the buying center, or is this just one facet of what they do?
It is really focused on just opening them up to getting an offer. The BDC, we really shy away from trying to make it a sales tactic. We kind of let that process play out when we make the offer as to how the customer is going to get around after they sell us our vehicle.
Right, right. Where's how many vehicles right now are you acquiring a month? And knowing that you're just into this, starting this process, and where's the ultimate goal? Where do you think you can get to?
Right now we're doing anywhere between, 3 to 5 that we're acquiring each month. And as that process irons itself out, I realistically think a dealership of this size is, you know, able to acquire that 10 to 15 per month, um,
Right.
which is definitely the goal within the next 90 days.
And that's just coming out of the service drive. Do you ever see yourself expanding out to doing more private party acquisition and going after listings on Facebook and Craigslist? Is that in the cards?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a consideration. We also get good response from just emailing our database for people that maybe haven't been in service, but it definitely shakes out a few opportunities for us to look at. Not really doing anything yet advertising to the public, but I'd like to see that happen within the next, you know, 90 to 180 days is really where the goal is.
I dig it. All right, let's shift gears here. Reminder, if you've got a question for David, throw it in the Q&A or the chat there, and I'll get to it here. Let me get my notes going. All right. So interest rates on the grand scheme of things are somewhat at a normal level, but compared to recent years, they're higher than they have ever been. How are you and your team working to position the manufacturing incentives like, 0% APR to help yourself stand out in what's a pretty competitive market?
Well, the challenge of high interest rates is certainly top of mind for us, but it also presents a unique opportunity to highlight the value of manufacturers instead of like the 0%. To make these offers stand out, we really leaned into the idea of making financing options as transparent and accessible as possible. Um, clearly showcasing the long-term savings customers could experience with 0% APR versus like the higher costs of financing through traditional methods. We're able to draw more attention to the attractive incentives. Um, the team also focuses on timing and urgency. We emphasize the limited time offers or special financing programs in our marketing, our outreach efforts, whether it's digital ads, email campaigns, even on-site signage. It creates a sense of urgency and encourages customers to act before the offer expire. And additionally, the sales team has been trained to not just present these offers, but to really educate customers on how these incentives can impact their monthly payments, and overall purchase decision, because the goal is to make sure potential buyers don't just see the low interest rate, but truly understand its financial benefit. Um, combining the 0% with value added perks like discounted maintenance packages or cash rebates it's been a great way to make the deal even more enticing and show customers they're getting the best possible value.
I love it. You have just recently hired a general sales manager and a new finance manager. What qualities were you looking for in terms of the people that filled those roles?
Um, you know, the ideal person for us is somebody, again, that embraces our values, of the dealer group, but somebody that can really lead and have those creative ideas to attract the business and just to always be on top of opportunities like this, so that we can get the most potential in the sales department.
Yeah. So you mentioned the values there and the family. So the Consensis have certainly built a recognizable brand. So talk us through how important you think that branding is at the kind of the market level, but also all the way down to the individual salesperson level.
Yeah, I mean, for the salespeople, the personal branding is equally important. They're often the first point of contact with customers, and how they present themselves can make or break the sale. Um, the salespeople who are active on social media, who share customer success stories or create valuable content that speaks to the customer needs, whether it's about vehicle care, trade-ins, financing, can position them as, true trusted experts. And that type of branding uh, goes beyond just pushing a sale. It builds that long-term relationship. It boosts customer loyalty. And it really helps foster that repeat business.
Yeah, forgive me. I should know this, but I don't. What are they using video at all in their outreach?
Yeah, absolutely. We use that. It's definitely a value added proposition to a customer that they're getting to see their salesperson, they're getting to see the vehicle that they're interested ahead of time. And I think it's a big advantage. It's surprising how many dealerships don't take the opportunity to use video to really set themselves apart.
We hear that over and over again from our customers saying like, "Yep, we got customers walking in the door that say they drove past two other dealerships to come to us because we took the time to send them a video. And so they got to meet the person before they actually show up. They know where to go, what to do. They've seen the car. It's a great way to build the human connection or like master the digital handshake, if you will. All right, so let's shift gears. Let's talk a little bit about some everyone's favorite buzzwords and acronyms. You started using AI tools like Impel. What are you doing with that? How is it working? What are you measuring there?
The early results from the AI tools like Impel and Outsell have really been eye-opening. One of the biggest advantages we've seen is the ability to automate and streamline that customer engagement without losing that personal touch. Um, for our BDC, AI tools are helping to handle routine tasks like follow-up and appointment reminders, which helps free up the team to focus on those higher value interactions like addressing customer concerns or closing deals. And we've noticed a reduction in missed opportunities and an increase in response times, which has really helped to improve overall customer experience. Um, and on the sales side, the AI tools are enhancing our ability to qualify leads and prioritize prospects, based on their behavior, their engagement history. And that allows the sales team to focus on the most promising opportunities, which improves the conversion rates. Um, Additionally, AI-driven insights into customer preferences and buying habits are allowing us to tailor our outreach efforts more effectively, which has resulted in more personalized interactions and stronger customer relationships. And I see AI not as a replacement for our team, but definitely a powerful tool to augment our capabilities and make our work more efficient.
You said that really well. I think, feedback we have heard from some is when you deploy AI in a sense of trying to take over some of those functions of building a customer connection, then the sales team actually misses those opportunities to learn how to do it correctly and to maintain those skills. And it sounds like you've been able to maintain a really good balance of having it automate the things that really can be automated, but still letting the salespeople work with the customer and to learn from the customer. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, AI is great, but it doesn't replace that human interaction fully. Um, that extra personalized experience for the customer is still, a top priority for people. AI is great, but people are still kind of aware of what's AI and what's not. Um, it's a great way to get quick answers and to, again, follow those routine tasks, but a person at the end of the day helps drive the the emotional piece of buying vehicles and gives them a little bit more of a personal touch when they're talking to somebody.
Moving on to the next buzzword acronym, CDP, right? So, um, if you look at the social media, there's always a lot of discussion going around about CDP. Maybe it's tapered off a little bit, but I feel like we were like peak CDP discussion, and it seems like something that is challenging, right? If you're a big group with a lot of resources, it's more approachable and manageable. How do you think about it from the family of dealerships that are a part of your group and down to the individual store? Is CDP something that's right for you guys right now, or is there at some point that it will be? Where's your mind on this?
For the smaller dealerships, I totally get the hesitation. For smaller dealerships, it can seem like a customer data platform is a big investment and might be too complex to really implement. However, the reality is that a CDP can actually be incredibly beneficial, even for the smaller operations, because the key is to focus on how a CDP can simplify and enhance the customer relationships, which is something that's really valuable no matter the size of the dealership. Um, my advice is to start small and prioritize the features that are going to bring the most immediate value to their team. For example, a CDP can help consolidate customer data from different touch points, like website visits, social media interactions, or service visits. It gives a more holistic view of each customer, and that allows us for them to deliver more targeted personalized marketing campaigns and improve the follow-up on leads. Because it's not about implementing every feature at once, but focusing on the basics that help understand and connect the customers better.
Right, classic crawl, walk, run approach there. That's really good. Once you've identified those, you know, simpler areas to start, what does that training process look like? Are you bringing in people from the vendor partners to help train? Are you building in rigid processes for your team they need to follow? Hey, next time you do this, you always have to do that. How do you approach it?
Um, it's it is kind of a learn as you go for sure.
Right.
We utilize the vendors to kind of, give best practices, but you kind of we have to make those processes as we go, and there is some learning from our mistakes, but as we build that process, it's definitely a lot smoother to get a CDP working as efficiently as possible.
Right. All right, we're approaching the end here, so a couple more questions for you.
Mhm.
Should be pretty straightforward, right? So uh, you live in very much a like, how are we doing right now kind of moment. What does the month look like? But you seem to be able to separate out the here and now and also focus a little bit on the longer term. Is that a is that a skill set that you have had to build and acquire over the years? Is that something you've always had? How do you do that?
Um, Definitely something that has built over time. Um, I think that skill set is easier for some people. But for sure, it's been, over the these 25 years. It's kind of, you know, um, definitely, yeah, something that's had to be acquired.
You had to work at it.
Yeah, and
Yes,
knowing how
for
to
sure.
respond quickly and you know, pivot on what's working, what's not, to tweak things and, you know, find the most success as possible.
Got it. All right. Last question for you. What is on your mind right now? What are you trying to fix or improve?
I would say the biggest thing right now is market share. I think when there was a shortage of vehicles for the longest time and inventories back, there were some manufacturers had advantages because they had the products back sooner than other manufacturers. So that definitely caused a little bit of market share loss. But at the end of the day, especially Volkswagen customers, they're super loyal. So, you know, trying to regain those people back into, you know, the customer base is something that is a huge focus right now.
I love it. David, thank you for your time today here. We'll bring this whole thing home with just a couple more little nuggets to share. Off we go. All right. For those of you who are doing video, we talked about video for a bit. If your team needs help with video, have them sign up for the Dealership Video Academy. We're posting best practices and tips there, building a community of video users. And lastly, if you've made it this far and you do not yet have your own trade pending mascot, the Wobbly Bird, hit up that URL right there. We will mail you one of those absolutely free. You can be the envy of all your friends. David, do you have one?
I do have one, and it's a fascinating toy that sometimes I get lost in watching.
When you just need those moments to zone out, you just put the bird in the water and let it go, and
Yeah,
your mind will clear. David, thank
definitely.
you again for your time. Very much appreciate you being here with us. Thank you, everybody, for listening in and attending both here right now and afterwards. David, thank you.